Greetings and welcome to Beauty is Eternal, the art of being your best self for women, where we go in depth and under the skin of experts. My name's Caitlin and I'm your host. Today's episode is called Intuitive Healer Natasha Tomè, Queen of the Dragons on Raising Your 12 Chakra Vibration with Angels. With enough strength and grace, one person alone has the power to create changes that ripple across the world. Meditation can transmute energy from negative to positive, and healing can change a painful bleeding wound into a scar with a story, while forgiveness can soften a rock into a river. Natasha Tomè is an intuitive healer, Reiki master, and psychic medium based in Canada. I first discovered her a few years ago through one of her guided meditations on YouTube called Raising Your Vibration with the Angels, which has more than 2.2 million views and counting. She is going to talk to us about how everything is energy, about our human experience as souls, the pain women store in their solar plexus and sacral chakras, guardian angels' roles in our lives, why we actually have 12 chakras instead of 7, connecting to dragons in their realm, and how meditation and healing can transmute energy just like magic before our eyes. Natasha has drastically improved my life experience as well as the experience of millions of others, and she did it virtually and without asking anything in return for it. She did it because she created something with love and put it into the universe. She came out of the spiritual closet a couple of years ago. Natasha was a naturally spiritual child who shut down her connection to spirit at a young age, only to slowly reopen herself to it after a physiotherapist recommended she see an energy healer for a physical ailment in 2004. She slowly began to embrace a new path, eventually leaving behind a corporate career to help and guide others along their spiritual paths. You can book a one-on-one session with her in one of her many different types of healing sessions at natashatomè.com. Let's get to the interview now. Natasha, thank you for being my guest today.
My pleasure. Thank you for asking me.
Well, I'm a long-time fan, so this is a very exciting moment in time for me.
And I'm equally honored.
So you believe, as I believe, that everything that exists and everything that we are is energy. Why is it important to understand this in terms of how we act on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I mean, because we are all energy, we emanate our own energy and we pick up other people's energy. So it's really important, first of all, to keep your energy clear and clean, and understand that sometimes when you might feel something that's a negative energy, you might have picked it up from someone else, which is not it. That's why it's important to clear your energy every night in whatever method that you find that works for you. For some people it's meditation, some people, putting sage all over your body, sea salt baths, there's many different methods. But it's important to understand that our energy, not just our energy, our physical energy, but our thoughts, our words, our actions, they're also an energy. And, I don't know if I'm sure you've heard of Abraham Hicks, who are always talking about our vibration. And it's very, very true. Whatever we emanate is what we attract. So it's really important to keep positive, to keep, that's the word. Yeah. Just not judging, you worry about yourself. You just be who you are and let other people be who they are, and just worry about your own energy and keeping that clear and connected to source.
That's really beautiful. And I guess you know a lot about vibrations. You created a guided meditation about raising your vibration. Is it that different thoughts and different feelings vibrate at different levels, would you say?
Yes, definitely. Sometimes if you can feel someone's anger, it feels spiky energy. Whereas joy is such a different energy to irritation and anger. And so every emotion vibrates definitely at a different level. And of course, joy, love, happiness is at a higher vibration. So it just makes, even say you are in the best mood possible and you go into a room with people a little bit cranky, their vibration will be lifted just a little bit because your vibration is so high, but then it is still their intent that they have to want to also go even higher. But your high vibration will help theirs a little bit, at least, like a little, imagine it like a little candle, spreading light throughout the room.
If there are two people in a room, one is vibrating very high and one is vibrating very low, and they kind of interact, will the person with the lower vibration, will they get raised and the person with the higher vibration get lowered? Or would it be a different effect? What does that look like?
Well, the higher vibration person will have to really work hard to maintain their high vibration around lower energy. So it's a conscious effort because it's very easy to be pulled back down from a lower vibration. So first of all, the higher vibration person has to still, consciously think, no, this is all good. Everyone has their own issues. I still feel great. I'm not going to be affected by others. Whereas the person who's a little bit cranky or angry, if they're open to it, they might feel slightly elevated by being with someone who's glowing with happiness and joy. But it's also their conscious effort. They have to also think a little bit, well, they're actually quite happy. Maybe, things aren't so bad. And then there's some people who are so closed off, they'll be like, oh, these people are these Pollyannas. I don't know, that phrase. They're always happy, noisy. So, it's still a conscious effort.
As you were talking, that made me think of different people I know, like maybe one friend group where people are more positive, one group of people I know who are less positive. Do you
Mhm.
think that people are attracted to people of a similar vibration level, or?
I do, yes. It's like attracts like. And I find sometimes if I'm around people that maybe about a little bit vibrating a little bit lower, and then we have let's say a dinner together or a meal, and I come out feeling tired because that vibration is, it's an effort to keep yours high among a lower vibration. So yeah, and that's why you naturally would gravitate to someone else who's a higher vibration. Whereas the lower vibrational people, yeah, they will go at the same level, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. As you're saying that, I'm sort of thinking about different scenarios and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe that's why I feel so good when I spend time with that person, or that's why I feel totally exhausted after 30 minutes with that person,
Exactly.
because
Yeah.
it's their vibration level I'm reacting to.
It is. Yeah. That's why you'll
Yeah.
find people who like to gossip, and there's nothing against them. I have no judgment here, but there's a lot, they congregate together. They tend to be, there's a certain group that will always be gossiping, at least of my friends. And then, there's, yeah, others who, yeah, it's like what you said. It's you feel better with other people, and other people, not so great.
That makes so much sense. And especially if you're listening to this and you think about it in the context of people you know, situations you've been in, relationships you've had. Like for me, it's just like things are kind of clicking into place. Like, oh yeah, that it's making a lot of sense.
Mhm. Yeah, and with our vibration, I mean, we really co-create our reality. And I'm paraphrasing Abraham Hicks, of course, and many others have, great teachers have said it too. But it really is the power of our own thoughts and vibration and words, and that's why it's important to keep it clear, and keep yourself clear. Be mindful of what you watch and listen to. The news, horror movies or scary shows, or just things with a lot of violence, and that affects your vibration. So it's important to not just be mindful of who you spend time with, but also what you watch and listen to and read.
That makes a lot of sense. And going back to what you said about Abraham Hicks and others having said this before, they might have said this, but you created the best guided meditation of all time for raising your vibration. So I'll take your word for it.
It's the angels, really. Mouthpiece.
They must love you.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, they love all of us.
You mention in some of your work that we are souls having a human experience.
Mhm.
Could you expound on this a little bit? Why do we decide to have a human experience? What's the point of it?
Well, from my studies and what I've learned and gathered over the years, it's, I believe, and other people may have different beliefs, is we are all souls, and the reason to come down to have a human experience is because it's considered the most challenging experience in the universe. Humans are not the only beings in the universe. There are other alien beings or starlight beings, whatever label you want to put. But to come down to Earth with being a human, because we have all our emotions, we have our ego, we have our free will, and then still trying to keep that connection to source, to nature, to all the beauty and goodness that we have available, it's challenging. And so by a soul choosing to be a human in either one lifetime or numerous, it helps their soul grow. So, when you pass on and you transition from, when you pass on from this lifetime, your soul kind of does a soul review. And then every challenge that the soul has had, every interaction is a soul growth. So they move up kind of in their own, back in the,
Ah,
so they become elevated. So like, have you heard of ascended masters?
I've heard of them.
Ascended masters are those who are on Earth. They had a human experience. So people like Jesus, Kuan Yin, Buddha, all beings that were humans at some point, but their soul has been, they're at that soul level that they're so ascended, so high that they're now guiding humans who are still on Earth and alive at this time. So that's how your soul goes on different higher levels of wisdom, enlightenment, and then, kind of like the privilege to be able to guide humans.
Ah, that's really fascinating.
Mm.
Would it be sort of like some people say that it is through challenges and through mistakes that we learn the most? So is it
Yeah.
sort of like our souls wanted to learn a lot, so that's why we took on this challenge?
Yes, definitely. Our souls wanted to go to the next level on their soul dimension. So yeah, they took it on as yeah, and they usually pick challenging circumstances or challenging lives or people who are challengers, all to grow, all to learn. And if we don't learn, because sometimes if you attract the same type of experience in your life in this lifetime or the same type of person, that's a challenge. That should be like a little red light flashing in your mind, like, hey, this is something I need to learn, rather than thinking, oh, poor me, I'm such a victim, why is this always happening? It's better to look at it another way. It's like, okay, this is a challenge, what can I learn from it and overcome it? And then your soul doesn't have to come back and keep redoing it, because that's also the cycle. If they feel after the transition, from death, if they feel the soul hasn't made or hasn't learned from the challenges, then they'll come back into another life until they master it.
Souls basically having an experience to learn, and you were talking about the ascended masters.
Yeah, those were humans who have been on Earth, and now their
Mhm.
souls have been, they've probably had several lifetimes before their souls reach the highest level of privilege to be able to advise humans, to impart their wisdom. Because we all have spirit guides as well, so those are also people who have been on alive. So they connect. When you have spirit guides and ascended masters, they understand the human experience, and it's not that the angels don't, but it's a different healing, a different guidance that comes through, because the angels are at the highest vibration, and they're all pure love. And I mean, and then the spirit guide will have been on Earth, they'll understand some of the challenges, so they'll they might have a bit more practical information. So it's yeah. Sorry, I went off topic there, but anyway. So yes, your soul will
Oh no,
learn
I
with their,
pushed you off topic.
yeah. the soul will learn with every incarnation, and in the hope that they are gone, they elevate in their own soul dimension afterwards, after every human incarnation.
Well, that would explain why there's so much pain and suffering in the world. I think one thing people struggle to come to terms with is, okay, I can understand if I, as an adult, suffer because I've made mistakes, but what about an innocent child, for instance? In that
Mm.
case, there would be the soul chose to have that painful experience to learn what it was like to suffer like that. Would that explain it?
Or, yeah, that could be one reason. Or they could have a soul agreement with someone, let's say their parents or a mother or a father, not both, for that person to learn from having a child. Let's say, as an example, an autistic child. They're actually quite evolved souls, and as not every autistic child is very evolved, and they're just, they're having trouble on the lower vibration, really. And so sometimes some autistic children come into incarnation to teach their parents patience, or some other
Mm-hmm.
agreement they might have made with their parents, because I believe that every soul, every child chooses their parents before birth. And so you choose them either for a challenge or for the support, or there's some agreement you guys made, and perhaps in another life the mother was the child and it wasn't a good relationship. So you've kind of, and the soul dimension, they agree before birth, before both of their births, okay, this lifetime will balance it out. You can have struggle with me. Everyone's path is so different. I can't, it's a big generalization, but that's an example of why, yeah, there might be. But then wars is a human thing. So that's created here on earth. I don't I don't know if any soul picked that before incarnation, to be in a war as a refugee of war.
So it would be sort of like a lot of your relationships are potentially relationships where you had agreed to it previously, your souls, that you would see each other in this lifetime, but a mass event like a war or a tsunami, then if it's so big, and okay, tsunami is not man-made, or maybe it could be,
Yeah,
depending on what you think, or like Chernobyl or something, or something
yeah.
man-made, massive disaster, then that may not be sort of a soul event. That could be then a human event.
It could be a human event, but they're also, like, for instance, let's say the tsunami, the big one that happened in Thailand, I think in 2004. Anyway, like those souls who did die, they would have agreed to sacrifice themselves before birth.
Ah, okay, so they would have still made an agreement.
Yeah, yeah. So I believe that there's no accidental death. A
Mm-hmm,
soul is going to
mm-hmm.
go when a soul is going to go, because that's their decision.
Uh-huh. Very interesting.
Mhm.
I want to shift a little bit and talk about your childhood. So
Okay.
you were a child, as a child, you were naturally connected to source, and then you kind of lost that connection a little bit, and then you found it again. What
Hmm.
has this journey, almost to the past, been like for you?
Um, well, once I found the connection again, it's been amazing. It's not that I had a bad childhood. It's just, I'm an only child, and I guess a lot of attention was on me, and from loving parents, loving and supportive parents. But when you go to school, and kids were making fun of me if there was mention of, like, oh, there's a dragon or something like that. So, and I don't know if that was really encouraged at home either. So I kind of shut that down.
What age was that?
Oh, I don't know. I would probably, when you start school. So in Canada, maybe
6?
five,
Oh, 5.
kindergarten, 4 or 5, 6, something. Because if I ask my mother now, I say, well, did I have imaginary friends? And or not did I talk about dragons and angels? And she says, no, you were normal. So right that right that tells me, okay, so if there was any mention of it, I would have been shut down. And no disrespect to her, it's just that's her path, her life. But anyway, so then when I started rediscovering connection to source in the spiritual world, and it was like, it was a progression. It wasn't like, instant. And I thought, oh my God, there's an angel and then I can talk to them. But it was, I started a Qigong workshop and it felt like something different, something beyond our own dimension. And, I remember her teaching us how to look at auras. I thought, oh my gosh, this is amazing. It was like my eyes.
Can you see someone's aura?
Only with my eyes closed, but I remember she was teaching us how to do it with our eyes open, and you have to put your eyes off focus. And I could see now a little bit of an aura, but the colors I have to close my eyes for. But I could see kind of the outline around the person. It's about an inch from the bottom. Yeah, but it's practice, it's total practice. Because the first time I did it, I was like, I can't see anything. It's so frustrating. And but then I took more courses, and I was just taking every course I could find and learning and going to meditations. And as I did more and opened up more to source, then I just felt everything flowed more, everything in life was flowing. I didn't feel as alone. To me, I thought it was amazing and magical that there's a whole other dimension beyond us. So, every movie that's, like Princess Bride, and every movie that has fairies or magic in it just resonates with me. It's like, yes, that's what it's like.
And it was a couple of years ago then that you started to, I think as you put it, I hope I can use this phrase, you came out of the spiritual closet.
Yes.
And became a spiritualist. And
Yes. No, go on. No.
Because I know you from your YouTube channel, and previously I couldn't find information about you. So then you sort of put yourself in the public in a big way, right?
Right. Because before I had a corporate job, a regular day job, Monday to Friday, and so I made the YouTube channel under White Lotus because I thought, oh, I don't know. I wanted to keep the two separate, the spiritual side, which I was just doing on the weekends, and the corporate side was every day. And yeah, so then I decided, I don't know, it was just, when my soul just started feeling like dreading going to work on a Monday, and I thought, okay, this is the wrong path. This is definitely the wrong path. And I did, a lot of soul searching and meditation. And then I thought, that's it. I'm just going to go full time into the spiritual side. And that's when, yes, I came sort of out of the closet, and I changed the page to my name, and I made the Facebook page in my name, and I tell people and tell my family, this is going to be here. So it was scary, but then I've been so happy that since I did that, my soul is like, it breathes easy, there's no dread about going to work or doing any work.
I think you mean the Sunday evening stress that many people experience when they know, oh no, tomorrow's Monday.
Exactly. Yes. I have felt that for years and ignored it because, you think, oh, well, it's living and this is what I need to do. But then, you don't. I mean, if you should do things that make you happy. And it takes a lot of courage to do that. But eventually, it took me years, but then I finally did it.
As you made the decision to go from a corporate career to embracing your spiritual career, were there any guardian angels or ascended masters that helped you along the way? Do you have any ones that you're personally very connected to?
Definitely my guardian angel, because our guardian angels are with us from birth. And then I've always had an affinity with Archangel Michael and the archangels. And they're probably because I was introduced to them first as like the spiritual team. And then through different phases of my life, I've had different guides and masters come in. And that's for everybody. As you go through different periods of your life, you'll have different guides and masters come in to help you at that specific time. But your guardian angel is always constant. And I find for myself, Archangel Michael is always quite constant for me.
So I want to ask you a little bit about guardian angels. So let me just find a general way to ask this. Can you talk a little bit more about guardian angels, what they mean to us, and how we can connect to them in our lives?
Okay, well, we're all born with a guardian angel or more, but definitely one. and they stay with us from birth until death. And they're here to watch over us, guide us. They're always kind of guiding us with very subtle, gentle guidance. And people sometimes hear it in their head or through their ears, or they feel it. So it's different how each guardian angel will connect with their charge, with their person. But I find the best way to connect is in meditation. Definitely in meditation, to just be silent and still and relaxed. And then you call them in, and they have a name, so you can ask for their name. And then you just have to kind of discern, and that just takes practice of what's their guidance and what's your own thoughts. When I connect to, sorry, I know you're going to say something, or when I connect to mine, when I ask, because we had that previous conversation about how they connect, and he said mine is a man, but obviously they're asexual, but of course we identify them with human or male or female. And so anyway, mine is a male, and he said how they're with us is, they stand in front, they stand behind, they stand beside us. So they're an energy that is surrounding us, kind of like, I guess, if they had wings, which I think, because they're energy, so the wings are also a human construct. It was almost like they stand behind us and fold us into their wings, and trying to kind of keep us on our path, our life purpose and our path. And sometimes we don't pay attention, but they're patient and they stick with us. And then maybe a year later, they might give you another option to go on a different path. But they don't interfere with our free will. So, you have to ask for their help and their guidance, and then they'll give it.
Let's say that somebody is about to go, into a dangerous situation, but doesn't know it. How would the guardian angels try and warn them? Yeah, or if they did, how would they try and warn somebody?
The ways of heaven is so diverse. You can't really, maybe it might be a car breakdown stopping someone from going to a certain place, or it might be, I don't know, maybe they've lost money because they can't go somewhere. Like they'll do whatever possible. And you might think, oh my God, this is a really horrible thing to happen to me. But then if you look at it maybe down the line, you'll think, oh wait, that was a really good thing that I didn't go there, that person. Because they will, if it's not our time to go, they will do what they can to stop us. And sometimes, we do have free will, and we might ignore it and go, well, my car broke down, but I'm going to borrow my brother's car. Go anyway. So it's so many different ways they'll try and stop us and help us, and we might consider it as an obstacle and a frustration, but it might actually be divine guidance.
That actually makes me think, how many times in our lives do we actually get guided, or something seemingly bad or uncomfortable happens, but actually there's a whole meaning behind it that we don't know, because we can't see the whole line of events that would have occurred had we continued on one path.
Exactly. And that's the whole, to put that back to vibration. That's why everything you look at that might be challenge or sad or anything that's not going well in your life, look at it from different angles and think, oh, maybe this is a reason that I can't go down that path, or that this is diverting me. So yeah, you're right. It's and then when you look at it that way, then your vibration doesn't go down to like, oh, poor me and my victim, and because you're kind of like, okay, speak to me more, and they will. The more
Maybe
you open
I'm
up,
quite lucky. Yeah, maybe.
yeah, and the more you open up to get the guidance, then they just pour it into you. Angels, guides, ancestors.
Well, what happened to me today, actually? I've been doing your meditation a lot because I'm kind of obsessed with it. And I was actually looking for something, and I was getting my jacket out of the closet. And I put the jacket I was going to wear on, and I couldn't find what I was looking for. But as I took this other pulled the first jacket out, another one fell to the ground. I was just about to give up. I was like, well, I'm not going to find this. And then I was like, well, but that jacket fell down. Maybe there's some reason that fell down. And then I found what I was looking for in the jacket in there. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
That's the perfect example of an angel, dropping something into your path. Yeah, they're big ones. if books fall or paper falls, that's another way that they'll talk or talk to you. Lights flickering sometimes.
Mhm.
Um, a feather in your path, a random feather when there's no bird around. That's another way that angels will show their presence. Mm.
That's it's very exciting if you kind of go through life and then you really feel connected and you believe that you have these connections, because then
Mhm.
it gives meaning to a lot of things that might not have otherwise had meaning. And I feel like in our modern times, many people are connected all the time with their phone, but yet they feel disconnected in some way. So if you look at everything as sort of, hey, you're not alone, that's a really
Yeah,
empowering way to see things.
absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. You're right. We are not alone, and it takes a conscious effort to remind ourselves of that because, of course, you can't see them. Well,
Mhm.
some people can see them with their physical sight, but you'll get to feel them as well. Like I can't remember the meditation I just put online. I think your guardian angel touches you in a certain way. I can't remember right now, but so sometimes you can ask them to say, "Let me feel your presence," and you might feel a tingle or a shiver, and it's good to remind yourself of that because you're right. When you're alone or when you feel alone and disconnected, that's when the negative thoughts can come in and the negative vibrations.
Mhm. Mhm.
Dependency too, thinking that another human can make me feel better, but it comes from within. You are perfect as yourself, and you have all the spiritual team around you to help you.
I think if you can go through life feeling that, you will live a happy life.
Absolutely. I think so too.
I know from myself that the solar plexus, the third chakra, the one just around the rib cage,
Mhm.
I feel pain and stress in that area, and quite a few of my female friends that I speak to, they seem to feel that in this area as well. So, in your meditation, you go through all the chakras. This is the third one. I
Mhm.
was wondering because I think it's a very specific female kind of place to feel stress and pain. If you could talk a little bit about that and maybe some ways to help relieve discomfort in that area, or
Um,
whatever. Yeah.
no, I mean, you're right. The solar plexus chakra, which is just by your diaphragm, so just above your abdomen, that's our power, our confidence center. So we feel our confidence, our willpower there, but we also feel our anger, our insecurities there. Um, if we have arguments with people, that's where the cords tend to be. So when we exchange a strong emotion with someone, whether it's joy, anger, or resentment, there's etheric cords that connect us, and so that's a very common place to be connected is in your solar plexus chakra. It's where we hold our fear as well. So yeah, I totally understand that this is it gets blocked. So with those emotions, it can get blocked. And so the best thing I find is meditation and asking the angels to clear it. And you don't even have to do the whole meditation. You can ask, for instance, the angel in charge of the solar plexus is Archangel Uriel. And you can ask just him. You can lie in bed or however you do your meditation or in a silent place and say, Archangel Uriel, please pour your light into my solar plexus chakra, clearing it and cleansing it, and visualize it in your mind's eye that he's pouring golden light, white light, whatever resonates, white and golden, both. You could start with gold and put white in, and then see your solar plexus chakra spinning clear and white and golden, and do it as often as you need to, and he will come and he will help as much as you can, as much as you ask him. Another way is also if you are in a stressful, or if you're in a tense situation, you're arguing with someone and someone is attacking you verbally, you can put your hands in front of your solar plexus, like this, just to block it, to block their cords. You don't want people, if someone is verbally attacking, I don't want to say attack, but if someone is verbally abusing you or attacking you, or you know, uh, just in any way sending any negative emotions towards you, just put this in front of your solar plexus to protect it. And I would also, if you can't do a salt bath, I would rub some salt over it, just on your abdomen to clear it at the end of the day. Um, but yeah, salt, angels, sage. You can also put sage in front of it. But it takes constant vigilance. I can't say that you're going to do this and then it will never block again. It's a
Mm.
control of our emotions, definitely, and it's linked to, for females especially, it's linked to our lower chakra, which is the sacral chakra. Below that,
Mm-hmm.
that's our reproductive organs, that's our
Mm.
femininity, that's our creativity. And usually when one chakra is blocked, it's affecting the energy flow to the other. And so I would ask to do both. I would actually, if you do your solar plexus to clear with Archangel Uriel, I would also ask Archangel Gabriel to clear the sacral chakra, especially women, definitely.
That's such great advice. Yeah. Because I know it's a lot of friends and women I know. I think maybe it also relates a bit to menstrual pain, that these
Mhm.
two areas really where you feel the most stress and pain. And you actually reminded me of something. This is fairly personal, but maybe it will help someone else to hear it. I
Mhm.
remember when I was younger and I went through a very stressful time. I was probably 12. I used to always wear a seatbelt and I always used to put it here and put my hand there in that time period. Maybe in some way I was trying to protect myself, actually.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. If you unconsciously put your hand somewhere, then it's your soul inside, your higher self telling you,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
guiding that unconscious. It's unconscious to your ego brain, but it's conscious to your soul.
So one way that you can help the solar plexus then is to pray, to speak to Archangel Uriel. And another way is to do a meditation, and for instance, a guided meditation.
Yeah.
How do meditations actually help us connect to our higher selves? How does that work?
Well, when we meditate, we calm our minds, we calm or we relax our body, and we're in a complete state of receptivity. So normally, our ego mind keeps us tense and alert, and it's like a survival mechanism. Even though we're not cavemen anymore, fight or flight, but we tend to be a little tenser in our day to day, minute to minute life. And when you meditate, you relax your body, you breathe deeply, because breathing is a great thing to relax yourself, a great method. And then you're also calming your mind, and so you're opening yourself to the other dimensions, where
Mm.
then they can send in messages and healing. And they can send healing also when you're not meditating, but it's better to be in a receptive state because you can receive more, because if you're
Oh.
you're let's say you're on the subway or something and you're like, oh, okay, Archangel Uriel, like I need some light in my solar plexus chakra, you're still a little tense because there's people around you and you might think, oh, this is weird, and people might think I'm weird. You do it at home lying down, you're completely relaxed and completely open, and so he can access you even deeper.
And that explains it, and that's why if you normally try and connect to an angel, the communication won't be as strong as if you do it when you're in a relaxed state, because you can receive more. It's not that they're giving more, it's that you can receive more.
Yeah, you're opening yourself up more.
Mm.
And a lot of people don't feel comfortable meditating just without a guided meditation. And that's why guided meditation is good. Because then if someone is really stressed and they can't sit still, but if you're listening to someone do a guided meditation, it helps you focus on the voice, and that should help them at least relax it for a few minutes. you know but some people, they relax that way with music, so everyone is different. They don't have to meditate. If music makes them relaxed and open, then go do that as well, or hiking, or whatever works with someone taking a bath.
As you talk, Natasha, I'm getting like flashbacks to your guided meditation because I'm so used to hearing your voice in it because I do it so much. You hear something and I think I'm like starting to get hypnotized because my brain is used to being in that state. In this meditation that I'm clearly obsessed with, you actually go through the 12 chakra system versus what many people are aware, not everyone. So, many people are aware we have 7 chakras or energy systems flowing through our body, but it's not as common knowledge that there's actually chakras around us. Can you
Mhm.
talk a little bit about that and what motivated you to do a meditation with all the 12 chakras?
Sure. Well, that was when I was studying Diana Cooper's books. I don't know if you've heard of her. She's a British author who writes a lot about angels and unicorns and the spiritual realm. And that was where I first studied and learned about the 12 chakras, because she wrote about the ascension process and Atlantis and anyway, various spiritual topics. And so our 7 chakras. So when we were, for instance, in Golden Atlantis, we were all vibrating at a high vibration, very high. There was none of the challenges and things that we have today. So all of our 12 chakras were vibrating at that level because we were completely open. Everyone had clairvoyance. There was no lies, and it was just an open community. And then at the fall of Atlantis, which is when one of the priests had they had a motive for their personal gain, and that was what everything just started going downhill. So at that point, 5 of our chakras shut down, and so we only had the 7 to continue onward. Yes. So everyone's vibration dropped, so 5 of the chakras just closed, and that's why we have the 7 main ones, and that's what a lot of people only talk about the 7. But as we all raise our vibration, and Earth herself is also raising her vibration now, and we're getting cosmic help to do that. But as each of us also raise our vibration, we awaken our dormant 5 chakras.
That's so
And
cool.
yeah, it's amazing. And that, it by awakening those 5, it's raising our vibration just by that. And then of course our thoughts and our words and our actions and what we do and say and feel also contribute to that. So that was the background behind the 12 chakras. But of course there's more. I mean, there's chakras in the palms of your hand, there's chakras in your elbow, there's tons, which I haven't really studied, so I can't really comment on those, but I know those main 12.
Uh-huh.
Um, I wrote a book about dragons, and there's also Dragon Chakra, which so makes it 13, which
Ooh.
here it's above your heart but below your throat. So
Uh-huh.
it's like right there. That's the
Mhm.
Dragon Chakra, which if you touch it or open it through meditation, you can call in. Well, it connects you to the dragon realm when that is open.
It's so incredible that a meditation like yours, that's maybe 36 minutes, I think, can
Yeah.
transmute energy. I can go into it feeling stressed, anxious, and at the end, I'm just like blissful. It's so amazing that it can transmute energy. Is it actually raising my vibration? Is that why I feel so much better at the end versus the beginning?
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow, so
First of all, we're going
powerful.
through a relaxation process, and then really it's angel work. It's not me. So it's like bringing in angelic energy, and to bring in it's 10 archangels, and their energy it's phenomenal to see that through our body. It opens up your chakras, it clears them. So right away you're like, imagine almost like you're levitating, and that's what it does. That it's that energy from the higher realms
Mm.
that is always available to us. And we just, like you said before, you have to open yourself up, be receptive to receiving it.
I think it's a little bit like some people want to find love or find a partner, and the problem is not that they can't give love, but it's hard for them to receive love. I know that this has been an issue for me
Hmm.
because yeah, some of us can give, but receiving is super hard. So if you're not open to receiving, then it's hard for you to connect to somebody. They might want to give you it, but you somehow try and block it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Or you might attract the person who's also not giving or
Mm,
not receiving well. So it can be a very tumultuous relationship if you
mm.
both have that. You attract that same person. That's why, and not to quote Abraham again, but there's a lot of very, very important things that Abraham says. But sometimes when you break up from a relationship, and then you think, oh, I want to be in another relationship right away, and they will say no, you're going to attract the same person. You broke up for a reason, and you need to first heal yourself. You need to clear your own heart, your own
Mm.
whatever the issues were, and so that you attract the right person for you, and that person vibrating in the right same place as you are.
Mm, that makes so much sense, actually.
And actually, now that you bring up giving and receiving, I find a lot of females too in their sacral chakra, which is the abdomen, they give so much. They give as mothers, they give as wives, they give as girlfriends, and they just give. And
Mhm.
a lot of them have trouble receiving. And so that chakra gets imbalanced because
Mhm.
they want to take care of everybody. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful mothering nature, but and nurturing, but they have to also remember to receive too, to stay balanced.
Because if you just give and give, eventually you're empty. If
Yeah,
you give everything away, you need to balance it, right?
exactly. Yeah, it's a
Is that
balance.
something you help some of your clients with? To
Yeah,
balance their energy system?
definitely. Yeah, because if you give like a chakra, well, if it gives too much, it's kind of open too much, and then
Mm-hmm.
that means a chakra can be closed like this because it's not receiving. And so yeah, that's what we hope to do with every session is we open the chakra. First, we clear them because it's the first thing we should do is clear them of anything that shouldn't be in there. And then balance them, yeah, balance them back to the right size, the right spinning. And and people always ask, how often do you have to do it? And it's really up to you. What do you feel is the right time and what's going on in your life?
Mm-hmm.
It's how well you can maintain your energy and your emotions. And stressful time always calls for more sessions. So it really depends on the person.
Mm-hmm. And maybe especially for someone who's not so used to receiving love, having someone else help them would probably be very helpful for someone who, like some of my friends or myself, maybe we are better at giving than receiving, than having someone else give you that kind of attention. Maybe it's a way of like overcoming the blocks you have to receiving and getting help on a different level.
Of course, yeah, and because sometimes if you have trouble receiving love, it can be linked to the solar plexus, which you mentioned before, which is where you might hold feelings of unworthiness, or not I'm saying specifically you, but that's tied, of course, to the heart, and if you're feeling low self-esteem, sometimes that blocks you to receive love because deep down, maybe not consciously, but deep down, you might be thinking, oh, I don't deserve it. So that's a block itself. So that's what you try to clear open.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I've had to do a lot of work on my sense of self-worth and self-esteem also. I think that's definitely linked to it for me. And at least half of my female friends, I have a lot of friends, and at least half of them have something similar or have dealt with something similar.
yeah. I think we've all dealt with that, low self-esteem, and oh yeah. But that's the thing, we work on it, and I think we should be so grateful that we realize that this is an issue,
Yeah, that's
gone, and that there's so many tools to help us combat it, to
very
realize
true.
it
Very, very true.
really.
You mentioned dragons briefly, the Dragon Chakra, which I never heard of before. You've also written a book on dragons. Can you
Mhm.
talk a little bit about dragons and what they mean to you? Because I know they're also something very important for you.
They're very important. Yes, ever since
You're
I've
the real
started.
life Khaleesi.
It's so funny because I don't watch Game of Thrones, but I like just watch those episodes with her and her dragons. Yeah, I mean, ever since I started communicating with dragons, I feel like they're my new friends, my companions, my guides. So the way it came about was, I was communicating with angels pretty regularly in my meditations and in my own personal, ones when I would connect. And then I started to see in my mind's eye dragons coming in, and I would first think, "Oh, that's really weird," and just ignore it because we're human and there's self-doubt always. I would think, oh, I'm imagining a dragon. And even though I know better, but I still was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then I was working with one of my teachers, and she said, there's a dragon swirling around your head. And I was like, really? And she goes, yeah. And I was like, huh. And so then, and I started to like consciously connect with them the next time I was in meditation. And yeah, it was like I opened a door, and it was like all these dragons are coming in, and they all have things to say. So I mean, I was still working in the corporate world at that time, so I would only connect on the weekends. And I would just start to, then one of them said, you should start writing this down. So I would write down a little bit, which may be a page at a time or a paragraph. And then after a while, I thought, I'm going to put this into a book because they're giving information on where they come from, why they're here, how they can help us. And I kind of just compiled all those little bits and pieces that they were channeling to me into this book of how dragons can help us, because they were with us before, way back centuries ago, and then they withdrew, and then now they're just ready to come back and help us as another member of our spiritual team. So I have a meditation on the YouTube channel of how to meet your personal dragon, and that dragon is with you just like your guardian angel to guide you, to help you in any way that you need. Mine is personally a fire dragon because I'm a fire sign.
What's your sign?
Sagittarius. But a Pisces might have a water dragon, or earth dragon, air dragon, but then there's also dragons of healing. So I've started working with dragons to do healing. They bring in a golden energy, which is like a very heat. I get very hot anyway when I do that healing. And it works on the meridian system of a person's body. And now I find I have such a close connection with the dragons. Like I can just I don't even have to be in a relaxed state anymore to communicate. I can just think or ask a question and I can feel a dragon energy, or the answer will come into my head. And it's opened my eyes to a whole new other exciting spiritual realm. So I'm really, I even got a tattoo of a dragon, my dragon.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel a very deep affinity, and I do. They've told me I've had a past life with them, as back when they were visual on Earth.
So they used to exist in real life, and now they are no longer in the real world, but they're in the spiritual world?
Yeah, they're etheric, so they're like angels, etheric beings, still coming from source. But yeah, they stay in their realm, in their dimension. The elementals are a little bit closer to us because obviously we're closer to the elementals. But then it's not just the elemental dragons. There's so many other ones. But yeah, right now they're not as a physical manifestation. No, I'm not sure. I keep asking, are you going to come back? And I don't get a straight answer, but that's sometimes how the spirit world works. We only are told what we need to know at the time.
What is the difference between the energy of an angel and the energy of a dragon? How is it different if I want to communicate and ask guidance? How would I know which to ask? Is it what I feel? What's the difference?
Yeah, the first thing I would do is connect with each one of yours. First, your guardian angel and your personal dragon, get their names, and it's kind of like, yeah, what you feel. I feel that dragons are not aggressive, because that is a bad connotation, but they're stronger. And for instance, if you wanted to clear a space or clear your energy, I would ask your dragon to do it, because
Mm.
such a high vibration, it can only go so low.
Oh.
Dragon can go at the lowest, darkest energy and clear it for you. You would call a dragon to do that. So they can go deeper where angels can't. So if it's like some heavy stuff, I would ask for the dragon, or even both. You can ask both. There's no limit to how much help you can ask for.
That's so cool. I never thought about that, about how dragons could maybe reach levels that angels can. I've never worked with dragons before. I really have to try your meditation and figure out what a dragon is.
And it's a short one. I think it's 12 or 13 minutes, so it doesn't take too long. And once you get his name or her name, and then you can just, as you go to bed at night, you could just say, call your dragon's name and talk. And, it's up to you how you want to communicate with them. But I had a friend who just recently connected with his dragon, and now he keeps sending me pictures of all the dragons he sees in his life. As art and as a fashion designer, has put a whole dragon range out. And he was like, really? Is this a coincidence? I'm like, no, it's not a coincidence. They're telling you, okay, now you know about us. Start communicating.
In your time now working as a healer, what's the most amazing case of healing that you've ever seen? Particularly if there's someone listening who feels like they might be in a hopeless situation, maybe they could get some hope from hearing how someone else was able to be healed.
Oh, yeah, That's a hard one because so many people have had such great experiences. I had a friend who was having trouble getting pregnant, and she came for a session, and we unblocked all her chakras, and we worked on her, and I'm not saying I'm the one responsible, but and she was doing her medical treatments on the side, but and she had a baby after that. So I think that was a pretty major thing because she was quite blocked up on various parts of her body, that we cleared, and that was one that was, I thought, was amazing. And not that I'm taking credit for it, but I think it helped. I think everything in conjunction with medical helped. And I've had clients who've come in with such a heavy energy that their shoulders are bent forward, and I could feel it. I feel sick when they would come in, just from the energy, not from them, but and then after a few sessions, they're standing taller, they're almost glowing, they're brighter, they're like, oh, I want to go dancing, and just their whole attitude and I guess their aura, their vibration, it's all just raised, and they're just in a lot happier place. I'd have to say a lot of the healings are emotional that I see, and vibrational, that they become lighter and happier and freer, not feeling so tied down.
And when you perform these healings, you do not become then doused in the pain or suffering of what you've cleared, correct? How do you protect yourself?
With angels and dragons and crystals as well. I mean, I always protect the space that we're both in with crystal grid, and then I put my own protection on with the angels' help and the dragons' help, and then I do clear myself after the day of work, with sage, with the sea salt bath, with a walk in nature. It's a constant vigilance, but mainly I call in my spiritual team to help to keep me
Well,
clear.
it's much easier sometimes if we don't have to do things alone. Like what we were saying earlier, if you do everything on your own, life is pretty hard. But if you
It
get help,
definitely, it takes such a burden off with all our help, the help we have. Yeah.
what kind of projects do you have coming up, Natasha, that we should look out for?
Well, I'm working on another dragon book, and so, but I'm not sure when that will be done. But more short term, I'm going to go to Costa Rica for a while and hold some retreats there. And I'm working on putting more and more meditations online. I'm going to start a podcast with the meditation. So not so much a podcast, but just putting the meditations available on that.
That's a great idea.
I kept getting suggestions to do it. And that's also a way that the angels talk to you, is through other people. So if you hear things 3 times or more in a loving way, then like, okay, this is a message. So I've been hearing it now several times, and I've been ignoring it. So I'm definitely going to put my meditations on a podcast.
Well, that's perfect because if you're, for instance, on a plane or something, you're not going to play YouTube, but you will listen to a podcast, and it's a
Yeah,
perfect place to meditate.
exactly. Yeah.
Can't do anything else.
Exactly. So yeah, that's probably the biggest thing, is the podcast I'm working on now. And
Does it have a name?
not yet, no. I've just been transferring the files over to audio. I've been putting them on SoundCloud to start, and that's all I've done so far. So yeah, I don't have a name yet.
What is the best part about being a healer, and what is the most difficult part?
The best part is helping people. Honestly, if I, just seeing people change and seeing their energy change, and them telling me how their life has changed or how their feelings have changed, is the best part, because it fills me with this love and happiness. And even some days, when you wake up and you think, oh, I feel crampy, or I feel, not good. And after I have one session with someone, and all this angelic and dragon energy is coming in, I get healed as well, because I get, like, kind of like a bounce of that energy onto me. So it's amazing. And I really do I want to help people, because I see some suffering and struggling, and even as simple as, not finding the right partner, or people just being depressed. And I just honestly want to help people. I want them to open up to the spiritual realm and all the help we have out there. So, and then that makes me just so happy. That's the best part of being a healer, to open their eyes, their minds, their worlds to it. And the worst or the difficult thing, I guess, is the constant vigilance to keep my own energy clear, my house clear, my healing room clear. I have a friend who's a healer, and he said, someone should create a spiritual security team that keeps out all and I was like, yeah, but that's the angels. And he's like, yeah, but it's still, we are doing the energy, we should hire so it's daily, it's in the morning and the evening, just to keep our energy and the space clear, which is not such a big thing. It's just time and our own energy to do it. But otherwise it's pretty great to do this work. Even though sometimes, people don't understand it, you get to that point where you're like, oh, well, it doesn't bother me if they don't understand it. I give out the information, like to family, for instance. I've given out information, and I used to get upset, or, if they didn't take it on board, or they didn't say, yes, give me a healing session. And now I'm like, okay, I've given it out, and it's up to you whether you want to do it. And I'm pretty zen about it. And that's the best way to be, I think, with everybody, information. And those who want to take that step forward, then you welcome them. And those who don't, you're like, okay, when you're ready.
And that's also respecting their free will, because you're not trying to impose what you want and what you think. You offer it to them, and if they decide they don't want it, then you have to respect their choice to an extent.
Exactly. And everyone's is at a different path in their life. Some are open to it now, some might need a few more years, or whatever, something to happen, and then they'll realize, or come forth. And that, sorry, I hope you cut that out. But you're right, yeah, it's up to them, their free will, when they want to come and into this kind of healing and lifestyle and worlds.
Well, you helped heal me. I never met you before we did this interview, and interacting with you now, but you helped my life dramatically.
I'm so happy to hear that.
I'm
Just
sure that the world is
in a fabulous mood the whole day today, because they're like, oh my God, I helped. I've got feedback.
This is what your meditation does for me. Like, I'm just in a fabulous mood after I do it. Like, I feel so good.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, good. That's what it's supposed to do, help out everybody. And that's why I also put on YouTube, and not, for a fee or anything like that. I thought I just wanted to reach as many people. All the meditations, I'll reach everybody.
I thought of one more thing I want to ask you. I noticed that when I do a lot of meditation, when I'm in a very positive state, I'm actually more sensitive to negative energy. Is it because my vibration's higher, so I notice negativity quicker? How does that work?
Well, you become more sensitive in general. So you'll become more sensitive as your vibration is higher. You're more sensitive to people's emotions, negative energy, lower energy. So you're just you become more sensitive to other dimensions, the spiritual help. So yeah, it's quite normal. And that's why it's important just to keep your vibration high. You can sense the negativity, and if you can remove yourself from it, that's great. If you can't, then I would ask Archangel Michael to place an energetic protection around you, to not absorb anyone else's energy. And it's not that people know they're giving it to you, willingly. They're just, our auras are around our bodies. So especially in a crowded place, we can't help but intermingle auras and others' energies. So I would ask for angelic protection.
That's great advice.
Every day, every morning, I ask Archangel Michael to give me protection. And, it lasts about a few hours, so you can always ask him to top it up at lunchtime. I would recommend that to everybody. Ask your angels, ask Archangel Michael to give you energetic protection. Even ask Archangel Raphael to protect you. If someone is sick in your environment, it's coughing and sneezing and, has cold, you can say, wrap me in a cocoon of protection against all germs. They're there to be asked for help. We just have to ask them.
We can ask them for really anything, actually.
Yeah, anything. Really anything at all. You could ask them for a parking space. You could ask them to clear energy, you could ask them, I don't know, let's say you're waiting for something in the mail. You could say, angels, can you bring that to me quicker? Help me receive that check in the mail quicker. You know, really anything. Nothing is too small or too big for them.
That is a really beautiful way to wrap up our interview today. But before I let you go, I have 3 final questions for you. So this is not specific to you or what you're doing. I just ask all my guests to compile a list sort of really good information, of advice from people who are very smart. What is one book that you recommend everybody read?
I think it should be The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And The Four Agreements, it's short, it's simple. He explains things clearly, and it's just a nice way to live your life. Do you want me to tell you the Four Agreements, or?
Yeah, please do.
Basically, he advises and he explains the background of how people should live their lives. So the Four Agreements is one: don't take anything personally. Then you don't have any resentment, you don't have any anger. You're just like, I'm me.
Yeah, I actually have that book, but I accidentally bought the mini version. I thought I was ordering the book, and I was like, "Oh, the price for that's really good," and then I got the tiny one.
So what's in the tiny one? It's just
It's the Four Agreements, but it's very brief. It's like meant to be a small gift you can give someone. It does list them.
Yeah. So yeah, be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions, because that's another thing that causes problems. And always do your best. Meaning every day you have to do your best to do the first 3, because it's not easy. We're human. But I find, there's so many books I've read, but that book is so simple and short and sweet, but I think it's a really good way to live your life. Everyone should, because then, I think we'd all get along better too. Everyone would follow those agreements.
I think those are great guiding morals, great guiding ethics.
Me too.
What is one way that you use to manage stress? I think you've mentioned a couple of things that you do to make you feel better.
Meditation's a big one, but sometimes I think what works even better if I'm really stressed or agitated is to just go walking alone in nature. It really clears my mind and calms me down, and I just come back like a different person sometimes. It doesn't have to be long, it could be half an hour, but it really, really helps me handle stress. And it also makes me realize, wow, we really are connected to nature. It has such a positive effect on us. So yeah, that would be one way besides meditation.
Those are both great things.
Yeah.
And what about one place in the world that you love the most?
Well, there's so many. Can I say 2 places I found really spiritual in my recently? In 2016, I went to Mount Shasta in California.
I've seen a picture of you there.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh
yes, yeah.
Yeah, when I was searching for you, I found a picture of you there.
Okay. Yeah. It was amazing. That's when I also connected a lot with dragons there. And I just found it such a spiritual place. The mountain itself, it was phenomenal. And Sedona, the same thing. There was some incredible energy in Sedona. Lots of dragons too. And both of those places I thought were amazing.
I've never been to either, but now I have to go to both.
You do. It's just, and I went to both because I thought, I don't know, it's calling to me. I got to go there. And also, I think I read that, which angel is it? Archangel Gabriel I think that Mount Shasta is Archangel Gabriel's kind of portal. But also, I met a shaman there, and she was channeling Saint Germain, who's one of the Ascended Masters. So it's just an amazing place. So I would highly recommend you go there. And you're American. You can go.
That is true. I am American. But I'm so far away. I'm in Germany.
Yeah, true.
Thank you so much for your time today, Natasha. It was like the most magical thing for me to speak to you and hear your voice in person, because I keep saying this, but I've obsessively listened to your meditation so many times, and it's brought me so much joy and peace and calm and positive feelings in my life. It's helped me through difficult situations. So, first of all, I'm so grateful to you for creating that and sharing that with the world. And you're just an amazing person. Just talking to you has been just such a delight.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for reaching out to me and for sharing that how much the meditations helped you. So I'm really happy to hear it.
Well,
Thank you.
after the story about seeing the picture of you at Mount Shasta, you probably mean stalking.
Yeah, I was like trying to think what picture, but I'm like, okay.
I'm pretty sure. No, I'm pretty sure I was on your website, or I was looking for more information or something, and I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm wrong, but
No, it could very well be. Yeah, you never know. Once it goes on Facebook, it's out there.
well, thank you so much, Natasha, and we're looking forward to hearing more about you and hearing your podcast, and maybe you'll see me at one of your retreats if I'm lucky soon in Costa Rica.
Oh, yeah, I hope so. We'll definitely stay in touch.
Okay.
And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. On her website, natashatomè.com, spelled out NATASHATOME.com, you can sign up for a number of different sessions with Natasha, including healing and balancing the body energy, angel card reading, inner child healing, mediumship, space clearing, and crystal bed therapy from Brazil. She also offers workshops and retreats. Naturally, you can find her guided meditations there, as well as on her YouTube channel called Natasha Tomè. Go to YouTube and search for NATASHATOME, and you will find her channel. I am putting the links to various courses and meditations in the notes on beautyiseternal.com, so you can reach all of these places there as well.